Welcome back. You're listening to MMAOddsBreaker. Today on the phone we have Bobby Green, who's actually been on an 8-fight win streak terror between UFC and Strikeforce. He's just been killing folks. Getting ready to fight Edson Barboza on UFC Fight Night, come up here November 22nd. Bobby, first time that you and I have spoken. First, let's get the pleasantries out of the way. How are you doing? How are you feeling at this point in your training camp?
I'm good, bro. Good as it gets, My life is always chaotic, but I'm good. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to do what we do.
You and I have never spoken before as far as interviewing goes. So you probably don't know. I try to keep it away from training camp and kind of what you've been doing, because it's the same questions that you get from everybody that interviews you. It's kind of a pain in the ass, and I know you get tired of those same questions. So first, I want to talk about your rally against violence that you did back in October 19th in San Bernardino. I think it was called the Green Mile. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You can find it on YouTube. Just plug it in. You'll get an idea of what we were trying to do. Just basically a walk. We walked a mile, just from a park to a police department, and it's just enough for to see what is going on. Everybody's just looking at us and wondering, what are we doing, And it just created this big movement, We're trying to create crime awareness around for the city, because it's so violent around in San Bernardino. It's so violent in the IE. So it's for me, it was a way to fight back, because I had a brother killed and I had another brother shot, And it's not to be like my little brother was in a gang. But my other brother wasn't. He's a grown man. He doesn't even talk. He doesn't even come out of his garage most of the time. So this is just like, I had a Mexican cousin that was killed. All these different people are dying. Women are being shot. So for me, it was a way to fight back without getting into the war, So.
Oh, did the police stand up and take notice? Did they come out and talk to you, or was it just silence from their end?
Silence. They didn't do anything. They didn't actually even give me permission to do it. I took my city by control. I let them know that the people are the power. And I grabbed my people and I put it all together, and we made it happen without the police.
That's got to be tough, especially when it hits this close to home to you. To come up and rally and try to make a difference in your community, and you're out there doing the walk, and you come up and you show up, and there's no response from the city, and that's got to be a little frustrating. But do you feel like, even though there was no response from the city, do you feel like it did some good and it brought some awareness that now, even though
it was great, bro. It was great. It was wonderful. It brought a bunch of awareness. Even though I didn't have the city, I was a little nervous because I had different gang members like feeling some type of way about it. They were like, "Well, you're wearing a rival gang color." I'm like, "Bro, I'm not from a gang. My name is Bobby Green. Green's the color because of my name, and I don't care what's going on or what you guys feel about it. I'm a grown man, and I'm not into the gang stuff." So it was a little bit of worry, I was worried I was going to get shot up or something, But it went well. I was good, and it was a blessing.
Have you ever thought about leaving town and moving to someplace else and trying to get your family out of there?
That's what everybody keeps saying, like different critics or they want to comment, but what you have to understand is we don't make that much money, first of all. So, secondly, I purchased a home with my fiance. I put $20,000 down on the house. I had to pay 10 clean up her credit to do it, and then I put 20 down to pay the mortgage for the year. That's $50,000. You tell me who else has $50,000 just laying around and then have some more money to go move to another place and do all this stuff, So people are telling me to move on. The house that I bought, we got it with certain programs, so we have to be in the house for 3 years before we can sell. So I can't sell the house. I'm kind of stuck in a predicament,
Yeah, and well, plus two, it also shows
on top of that, you have to understand this, Frank. Like, then I'm a runner, So say I run, say I go to another city, and that city's just as bad. What do I do then? Do I run again, or do I keep running around place to place till I find a place? We have to sometimes we have to just stand up and fight, We can't just sit there and run. I'm not a runner, I'm a fighter.
And that's the reality of it too. But also too, if you look at it, that you have now set up roots. So when you're doing a walk like this, you're not some guy that's just renting a house that could get up and leave at any moment. You're stuck there, like you said. You're stuck there now for 3 years. You have no choice but to stay put for the next 3 years. So it makes a big difference when somebody's doing a rally and someone's trying to bring awareness to whatever it is. I don't care if it's bad parking tickets or violence. That you're going, look, I'm part of the community. I own a house here. I pay taxes here. This is where I live, and I want to clean up the streets. let's do it together. It makes a big difference when you own something and there's no way out for you. Like you're like, look, I'm here for 3 years. As a minimum, I have to stay put, and that's just how it works. So that's
yes. And so it's like it's a lot of pressure on me. I had too much that's been shot, so everybody knows what I am. You can't miss me in my city. There's only one or two black guys walking around with 2 gold chains on the gold watch. You can't miss me. I stand out like a sore thumb. So everywhere I go, I have to watch my back. I have to look over each corner and I have to make sure who is this person before I go somewhere. I have to now have this type of security type of approach, you know?
Yeah, and it's unfortunate in your own town that you can't be free and clear to go, oh, I'm just going to walk down the street and I'm just going to do this and do that. You always have to look over your shoulder, and that gets a little daunting, but it does add to the ability of how you fight, because you come out there with that kind of ferocity whenever you fight, that it looks a little bit different than when you come out. Like it's you kind of have a little bit more glimmer in your eye, I guess. I'm trying to find a good way to explain it, but it looks like that this kind of lifestyle. Say again?
Have you seen my fight?
Oh yeah.
I'm honored. Thank you.
I watched
always
this straight
under the radar guy, because I never really up until this point I've never been promoted. You know, I'm always the guy that fills in the spots. You know, so people don't even know. Like when I fought Josh Thompson, I remember I got the poster and Michael Johnson was still on the poster. I was like, whoa, like they don't even know that I'm on this card.
Yeah, and that's how it goes. Like I first got when you fought Cavalcante. That's when I first saw you in Strikeforce, and that was back in I want to say 2010, 2011, and I've been watching ever since. And you're right. You're always one of those guys that's kind of under the radar. You kind of last. You always get replaced. You always get brought in for somebody else. It's always it's a weird situation. When you replace guys.
Yeah. I always got a chance my whole career. I have to just put everything on the line. I put everything on the line for somebody like Josh Thompson, and if I lost everything. I put everything on the line when I fought JT. I fought him on 10 days' notice. So it's like, and I actually felt I won that fight. I outstruck him, and the only problem is that he was able to do some certain things at the end of the round to make people think he won the round.
Yeah. Yep. And as a result, you lose a split decision, and that was a very close split decision. And legitimately, depending on the judges, if you had one different judge, you could have won that fight very easily. I mean, it was that close. And then you go on. Now you're on an 8-fight win streak. Of those 8 fights, from Spain up to Thompson, who you beat by split decision in your last fight, who was the toughest guy you fought in there, with all the circumstances given? Short notice, the guy that comes up in front of you that gave you the most amount of fits. Like, who is the toughest guy in there?
They're all tough in different ways. So I can't really compare them. Pat Healy had so much pressure, so much grind, to him, and I felt like he was really pushing, Josh Thompson is one of the smartest fighters I ever fought, and his awareness and his strategy was so great, I fought James Terry. Nobody even got to see the fight, but we had a war, and that guy had so much heart. I busted my hand where I couldn't punch with one hand. So it's like different points where I had to test myself, I had to learn how durable I am, So I can't really say one is tougher than the other. It's just different aspects of the game,
Now, you said how smart Josh Thompson is, but you win a split decision against him, and that was your last fight. Did you have to outthink him to get that victory, or was it?
I did. I showed him that I'm just as well aware of what you're doing, and some more. I told Josh what Josh was going to do before Josh did it. God, you're going to head kick. I know it, and I'm like, damn it, I almost caught it. He knows it, and he's hearing me. I'm telling him exactly what he's thinking, what he's going to do, and what I was going to do. Or where every time my strike landed, I told him exactly where it landed. I'm like, no, you didn't hit me there. It grazed my neck. No, it hit me here. So I let him know I'm so much aware in this fight that you're not hurting me at all. You're not even really hitting flush.
Yeah, okay, and that really was the difference, the deciding factor for the judges too, is that a lot of those punches that he was throwing and kicks he was throwing weren't landing full. They were partial hits, and that goes down for the scoring. So it was really good.
Yeah, and I think that caused a lot of controversy too, because people look at it like I'm being cocky or arrogant because I'm like, nah, it didn't land. But when you got this guy throwing a flurry and the crowd goes wild and they go, oh my God, he's going to work, he's landing. And I'm like, none of that landed. Like, calm down. I'll let you know when it landed, but none of those landed. So he's trying to win this crowd over with nothing he's actually doing. He's just throwing stuff. That's cool, your activity, but make sure it lands at least.
Yeah, yeah, and that's the ability for the judging. Remember, they only see what they can see. You know, if they have a different angle, they realize that's not landing. And sometimes, from a different angle, from the judge from behind, he thinks it landed flush because you can't tell. You know, and so that's part of the problem.
Exactly.
You know? I'm looking at your record, and in 2008, you fought 9 times, and that was the first year that you started fighting professionally.
Yes, sir.
Now that you're fighting for the big leagues and you're in the UFC, this will be only your second fight this year. Are you a guy that likes to fight more than 2 or 3 times a year, or are you a guy that's very comfortable now fighting 2 or 3 times a year?
Heck no. I'm trying to keep pushing that 9. I want to get back to that 9. But that's very hard today, show, because we're talking to the world's greatest fighters, and you're going to take some damage. You're going to take some licks, you know. So that's the difference is the competition now that I'm fighting. I fought 1 time, 3 times in one night, you know, with a 10-minute break in between fights, you know. So
yeah.
That's the pace I'm used to knowing, you know, the pace I'm used to fighting at. But the competition is getting more and more heavy. So I want to be more active, but at the same time, I have some injuries sometimes. I get pulled off the show, I get put on the show, I get thrown off the show, I get put on the show. These different things, you know, that are happening around me. So I just can thank God that I'm able to perform at all, you know. There's some times where I'm busted up because I train hard. I fight every day. I like to fight. I don't want to drill. I don't want to do this. I want to fight, you know, and sometimes it's so hard on the body.
Well, let's talk about Edson Barboza. You know, you're 23-5. He's 14-2. And Edson's a bit of a grinder himself. He likes to come after. He likes to get in your face. He's gonna, you know, this is gonna be one of those fights where even if you win, or excuse me, even when you win, you're gonna be in a position where you're gonna take some damage. You're gonna get beat up a little bit just because of stylistically how this fight matches up. How do you see Edson, and how do you think he's gonna approach this fight?
You know, I think first of all, I want to say I respect Edson and what he's done. I respect any man that gives up the credit to God, because that's what I feel I'm here for. I'm just here to show God his appreciation for this gift he's given me. So I respect Edson in that aspect. But besides that, Edson has one tool. He can kick. He can kick very well. Besides that, I'm going to shut his kicking game down. He doesn't have. I have more tools in my bag, you know, and Edson has to worry more so about what I'm going to do, because I can strike, I can kick, I can punch, I can wrestle, I can chase. So where am I going to take the fight? That's the question to where he has to question me. I have no questions. You know, I'm going to do me. I don't really focus on guys. Don't get me wrong, I study them, but at the same time, I'm so worried about what I'm going to do that I can't focus on what he's going to do.
Now, when you're looking at Edson's win record of 14 wins, he has 10 wins by KO, 1 win by submission, 3 wins by decision. So when Bobby says that he's got a kick, he does a lot of damage with these kicks, and that's how he gets guys knocked out. But then you go ahead and look at Bobby's win record, and this is for the folks at home. And his 23 wins, 8 KOs, 9 submissions, 6 decisions. He wins all over the map. So when Bobby says, hey, I have a lot of different tools to win this fight, this is what he means. He has the ability, he's shown it in the past, that he can win by knockout TKO, by submission. If he needs to, he can go into deep waters and beat you by decision. How do you think this fight ends?
Open was an All-American wrestler. I took him down. I out-wrestled the wrestler. I fought James Krause, and I was striking the striker. Thompson, great striker, but I'd say more of a mixed-around, well-rounded guy. I had to outthink the outthinker. So I'm just showing that I'm versatile in every aspect of fighting, so that it's not just I have a hole in my game, you know?
Right. Yep. No. And now you look at this fight. All Edson has is kicking power and a little bit of hand speed. How do you think this fight?
You say that about his hand speed. I really don't even respect his hands. I'm gonna get in there, bro. It's gonna be a fight. What do you say, bro? It's gonna be a fight. I'm gonna make it a dog fight. Promise you that. And we're gonna see how well his hand speed and power is. We're gonna fill that out real quick.
Are you gonna finish him within the 3 rounds?
I think so. I think he won't keep up with my pace. He fights at this slow Muay Thai pace, you know, and I'm not a Muay Thai guy. I'll come in there and I'm getting in his face, and it's going to be on from bell one.
Yeah, you're looking to step in and try to finish this quickly, and that's actually my prediction that this fight's going to end early. I was picking sometime in the end of the second, beginning of the third, just because of the pace.
I'm thinking the same.
Okay, well, there you go. Now we're in agreement. Now we're going to lay my bet. Hopefully we're not wrong. All right, Bobby. I appreciate you coming on here at MMAOddsBreaker. I know it's been a long time since we spoke, and I have been a fan of yours. Like I said, since you fought Cavalcante back in it was actually July of 2011 when you fought him in Strikeforce. So it's been your last 9 fights, and I'm not gonna lie. I picked against you and James Krause. I picked James Krause. I picked Healy and I picked Thompson. I picked against you your last 3 fights, and you cost me money.
I keep shocking him.
Yeah, and you cost me money, and then I started looking at this one a little bit differently and having a look at your quality of competition, and having a look at how you battle against guys and how you keep rising up, and I'm picking for you on this next fight. So I really believe that you are that guy that comes under. Really, guys underestimate you when they come in. And as a result, you find out very quickly how bad it's going to be.
I talked to Krause, and he said, I didn't even know you can kick. I was like, what fights have you been watching? Like, where have you been watching? And then both was like, I didn't know you could wrestle. I'm like, whoa, you guys really aren't paying attention, you know?
They really didn't. I think Josh Thompson actually paid the most attention to you because he had the most answers for a lot of your stuff, and you still beat him.
He did.
Yeah. And like you said, Josh
he's a veteran sport, and he's not dumb. He knows he has to study his opponents, and he understands each and every opponent's game. But the problem is that they still can't understand exactly where I'm going to go. No one knows it. I think maybe he thought I was going to be a wrestler. I don't know. Maybe he thought I was going to strike. You never know what I'm going to do. Nobody knows. When the UFC put my stats out, they said 30% striking, 30% wrestling, and 30% something else. That tells me you have no idea what I'm going to do.
Right.
I'm okay at everything.
Yeah. And that's how you got to win, and that's the new age of MMA. You have to be at least 30. You have to be 30% all the way around. That's how it works.
So, thanks so much, Frank.
You got it, Bobby. Appreciate it, man. We'll talk to you later on.
All right, bud. Peace.